I've gotten accused of spreading misinformation when I talk about the treatment plan that I used to get better. That's been used by a number of people and doctors. If you watched Dr. McCullough on Rogan, he's a cardiologist, epidemiologist, he goes at length to talk about, and he's double vaxxed. He talks about the treatment plans that he used with people. I think one of my issues, and I've brought this up many times, is one, they don't talk about the fact that guys are getting better using this. People are getting better using these things. That's fine. You don't want to talk about that. But how come in a league where we're seeing 51 guys on the list yesterday,
100,
there's still zero conversation, at least publicly, around treatment options for people that test positive? I do know behind the scenes, this is 100% true. There are many teams who are using or recommending a lot of the same treatments that I got for their players. So
Dr. Joe Rogan?
There's treatments being talked about behind closed doors, but publicly I don't understand why we can't talk about treatments. And because I think it needs to be not just talked about with the NFL players, but with the rest of the country, that there are ways of, whether it's Delta or Omicron, it seems like there's not a lot of major symptoms. But if you have Delta like I did, there's treatment options that actually help. And if you don't agree with the ones I use, well, let's come up with some other ones. Instead of like sticking a person, putting 10 days in an isolation, and not able to see anybody and zero treatment options. To me, that's just, if science can't be questioned, it's not science anymore. It's propaganda.
Woo! You're gonna start some shit. That's
the truth. When somebody comes out with a scientific study, right? What do they always say? They say it's a peer-reviewed, right? What does that mean? It means that people in the same field have gone through it and questioned the hypothesis and questioned the research and looked it up to see, does this research stand up? That's what science is all about. It's about forming hypotheses, questioning those, testing those, and then releasing the results. When did science become this blind agreement with, and then not having any debate over what can actually heal people and work for people? That makes no sense to me.
Well, Aaron, the reason is because as soon as you say one of the things you just said, and you said a lot of things there, so I want to let you know I appreciate you speaking your truth, how you feel. Well, a 500-page report is something that kind of gets thrown aside whenever they talk about you, but they hear you say one thing, so they think you're against a massive amount of doctors that have said, hey, this is what we should be doing, this is what we should do, and that's how they get all their information. Now, granted, I have been very open. Charles Barkley came on here and said he's a vaccination guy, and he gave his reasons why he promoted it, and I was thankful for that. I think everybody, situations are situational. They should understand that the other side exists, and you just so happen to be one of the faces of one of the sides that some people don't know or appreciate that they exist. And as a society, I think we got to get to a point where, hey, let's just fucking move along here. Right, Aaron? Is there anything that's going to come that's going to change your mind on all this or no?
Look, I think at the core is that I don't have a problem if somebody gets vaccinated. Okay? That it's your body, your choice.
Hey, I'm vaccinated, by the way. I'd like to let everybody know.
Awesome. You made a decision you thought was in your best interest. And I researched, and I have other issues. I'm talking about my allergy, like to the mRNA vaccinations. But I made a decision that was in the best interest of my body. And that's what it should be. There should be the freedom to choose what's in your best interest, not, mandates sweeping that disregard people who have pre-existing conditions or compromised immune systems, autoimmune diseases, or allergies to ingredients in the vaccine. That puts you in a whole different category. And that should be okay. And also, it's you're making decisions for your body. What I don't understand is vaccinated people blaming non-vaccinated people because the vaccine that they took to avoid getting the virus didn't stop them from getting the virus.
Well, I want to let you know that you probably are going to get a lot of mentions about how much they hate what you feel, but I feel like you've been very consistent. You've been consistent, though, Aaron.
I'm sharing my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I get it. That's what people hammer me most about. But I consulted with a number of doctors, MDs, naturopaths, homeopathic doctors, and figured out what worked best for me. Okay? I'm not some uneducated person who's doing stuff out there. You want to rip on me because I took horse dewormer and
Aaron Rodgers, after the statement on the Pat McAfee show, is being attacked for his own opinion. He talked about different methods of solving COVID-19, Delta, or Omicron using different scientific methods. That means probably ivermectin, other type of natural methods in stopping the virus. And he's wondering why we are not open to using these natural methods in saving Americans and people all around the world. But his critics like Mike Freeman over at USA Today, you know Mike Florio is going to attack him. You know that Deadspin is after him. They want to hold Pat McAfee accountable for letting Aaron Rodgers so-called spread disinformation. But Aaron Rodgers said, which was true, is one of the best statements I heard through this whole pandemic. He said, if you can't question science, it becomes propaganda. And he's right. And it seems like Dr. Fauci and so many others within the medical field, within the government, is right now dealing with propaganda because they don't want to hear anybody on the other side of the issue. They have basically censored thousands of doctors in America and around the world who have a different methodology when it comes to solving COVID-19. And it's sad to see in America that we cannot have an open discussion. How they use this word disinformation, it's almost like they're using the methods of the Chinese in the old Soviet Union. Aaron Rodgers, I have to give credit to. He believes in his constitutional rights. He said he's not against the vaccine. He said it's my body, my choice, which is true. Pat McAfee has said he has taken the vaccine. But everybody is not the same. And we have to understand that. There should be an open discussion about the virus because you had Rachel Maddow on back in March saying if you take the jab, you won't have to worry about spreading it to another human being, or you don't have to worry about catching it. Yes, the jab helps you in the long run when it comes to probably saving your life before going into the hospital for some people. But if you look at it, it's about a 20% chance that you may still end up in a hospital. And since Aaron Rodgers is an athlete, he's probably one of the few people in America, probably the top 1% when it comes to being in shape. He feels as though he doesn't need to have some foreign substance in his body. He wants to protect his body because basically that's how he makes his money. So we should give Aaron Rodgers a chance to express himself and not be so critical of him like so many others have been in the mainstream media. I want to thank you for listening to BLACKSITE Sports. I hope you subscribe to this channel, smash that like button, but also share this video.